Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? We're back with this motor. I just wanted to give a update that the motor is in there. The motor is bolted up to the trans. I got bolt just halfway in there, but it's in there. One at the bottom, he's in there. You see the transfer case hanging on the ground. So it's not on the ground, but it's just hanging up. So you guys, just want to show you that again, this can work. So if you have a vehicle, a Traverse or a Malibu, any vehicle with the GM 3.6, with the timing chain, I don't recommend these motors. I have seen these motors be good, at least. You would have to stay on top of your oil. It's just simple as that. These have a timing chain catastrophic failure. Once they get low on oil, the timing chain heats up and it stretches out. And this vehicle would have been on its second timing chain issue trouble. It had a lot of stuff going on. Not this particular motor, but the previous motor. It had a lot of stuff going on. So if you were to do a transmission, this would be simple too as well, because what you would do is you would be on a passenger driver's side and you would just drop everything as far as on the driver's side. So like over here, but you would just drop a little more things. So this sway bar end link you would take off, this outer tie rod would take off, and this would drop down a little more, and you would possibly, I seen this not come out of people's way and they're still able to slide the transmission out and kept this on. So it just depends on how you work and how comfortable you want it to be, but this wouldn't even have to come out your way, neither. The trans will come straight to you. You might have to remove the strut tower as well, though, so you would want it to, with no issues. And then what you do is you unbolt the K-frame. Okay, you would unbolt it from the passenger side completely, and you would just lower it, unbolt it a little bit from the passenger side. I'm sorry if I said called this side the passenger side. This side is the driver's side. So you would do it like that, and then unbolt the transmission, the flex blade, and she'll come right to you. After the K-frame has been dropped, the transmission, once you separate it from the engine, the transmission will drop too as well, and it'll slide right to you. And that's, you have to unbolt. If you have a transfer case 4-wheel drive, you would have to unbolt that from the trans. I think it's bolted to the trans, so you would have to unbolt that. So other than that, just keep this in mind. The only tedious thing is taking the front end off, getting the motor out. Keep the back catalytic converter on, because you're able to just get right to those catalytic converter bolts, get that off, and then hook up your whatever you're going to use to pull the motor out. It's basically, again, guys, simple. You don't even have to take some of the harness wire off for the engine. It'll just unplug and then come right to you. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of things that you don't have to unplug like this, because this is the engine harness. The engine has its own harness, and then it has a body harness too as well. But yeah, you don't even have to do all that excruciating stuff. So just keep that in mind. It's like GM knew that this engine was going to be, swapped out a few times. I wouldn't put any more money into this. This shop, the dealership, mind you, not the shop, the dealership. On the last engine, they tried to save it or whatever, and they ended up pulling sealer in the engine and all type of stuff. I was just like, this is coming from a dealership. You know, usually dealerships, once they know, you know, sealing is used for a vehicle that, you know, they're buying. They don't want that vehicle. So it's that's like a clunker in their eye. So you know, why it's just weird. You know, some customers, they don't care. The vehicle's nice. They want another engine in there. And I don't know. Some people don't think about how much you got into a car, like actually buying the vehicle and then um, repairs for the vehicle and adding all that up and just being able to say, you know what, I'm gonna walk away. So some people, they just simply just want their vehicle. They don't want to look for another car. They want this car, you know. So has suspected transmission issues as well. So um, I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but yeah, guys, this motor is in there. The only thing I would have to do is bolt up the rear um, motor mount, and that's it right there. And we're good. And then it has a front top motor mount. I have to bolt this up. But motor's not shaking other than the camera. So I'm pretty happy. I finished that up yesterday with putting the motor fully seated and getting them fully in there and bolting them up and stuff like that. So I'm happy. This vehicle will be out of here this week. Just keep in mind that it's fairly simple. It's simple. It's not a lot of work. Once you get the front end off, the motor's looking at you and she's wanting to come out. So unbolting the motor is fairly simple. All the bolts are there looking at you. It's not too difficult. Again, if you're just doing a motor job for anything 3.6, even the vehicles, the cars, the Malibus, the Impalas, because these motors came in those too. GM is a company where they don't like to spend a lot of money on or have like 7 different motors in their fleet. They like to shorten the number down to 5 or maybe 4, and then they put those motors in every vehicle that they design. So and some motors be test and trial and error motors. So it's like I don't get that they don't do a long enough test on these motors. They can't. They must stop at least, because I've heard 60,000, you know, on this. So they must stop at like 20. And then say, oh, it's a good car. So and that's just so crazy. And then it's more crazier is that the manufacturers don't abuse their vehicles neither to make sure that they can hold up, because some people just simply abuse motors, you know, and abuse, I'm talking simple oil changes and stuff. Just, you know, you got some motors that can handle abuse. It's just simple as that. I got a 350 in this truck, and I know he can handle some abuse. So you know, it's just simple, you know, little things. You know, you get a little low on oil and it's doing so much destroying to the engine, and then you go and you do it again, but it's not worth it because it's gonna do it again. So sorry, guys. So you know, the only thing it's worth is putting in a new engine, or when the trans does go bad, put in a new trans. That's the, and you can tell the difference between the trans and the engine. You know, the transmission has so much grease, and I just can't wait to get this car out of here. It's just a grease mess. So yeah, so I'm very happy with this. It couldn't be any more better. I thought I was gonna have some trouble with that engine mount. I was at first, but she slid in. That one's kind of funny too as well, but she'll slide in. You play with them. But what I'll do to get the rear mount in, this is what I'll do is here. Let me get you guys zoomed in. All right, so the transfer case, I'm gonna get him back in there, and then what I'll do is lift the motor up a little bit. The motor is already on the mount, So this is the front. So it's already, so what I'll do is just take this screw off a little bit. Maybe, I really don't wanna, it doesn't really matter because the transmission is gonna keep the motor from going anywhere too far or getting out of place too much. So I'm just gonna lift him up to give me some room and then slide him in there and then bolt him up. I had him in there, but I do not recommend you having that mount on. I don't recommend the mounts on. I don't recommend that. When I pulled the motor out, I took the mounts off too as well. I do not recommend you having the mounts on because you have to do it the same way. You have to do it just a little like the same way that you took it out. So just be cautious of that. I didn't have that condenser on for the AC. I took that out while before I pulled the motor, so that has to be off when I put it in. The alternator, I probably could have passed on I could have probably kept that on. I'm just not sure. I think I might have was seeing some clearance issues and just wanted that up out the way. So yeah, so if you just see any little clearance issues or anything, just get them out your way. But for the most part, I never even, remove too much of anything, that much. Getting to the torque converter bolts are pretty much easy. You spin it. The rotation, you have to know the rotation, but the rotation is going towards you. So that's the rotation, it's going towards you when you're turning that, trying to get the, well, if you're changing the motor, it doesn't make any difference, but installing, it's good to know the rotation that you're supposed to go. So instead of going up and trying to find it, you don't go up, you go towards you, clockwise, or I think that is. No, that wouldn't be clockwise, it's counterclockwise. So, okay guys, yeah, I'm gonna cut this video short, and I'm just making a video so you guys can know that this works. Pulling them, just if you don't want to mess with that transmission, get you a jack stand, unbolt them up, keep the jack stand up under there, and then when it comes time for the install, throw your jack up under there. You might have to level that trans out just a little bit, and pump them up and lower them down, pump them up just to get it to mate up with that just to get that engine to mate up with the transmission. But other than that, man, yeah, it's fairly simple. I know I haven't been able to record as I go and stuff like that, but I know there's people out there that's questioning it and just wanting to know if it's doable. Yes, it is. They have this engine is in a lot of different models, so this is a 3.6 that's in virtually all their little small cars, crossovers, everything, the Traverses. My granddad has one. He has the same engine. He's faithful on his oil changes. I'm talking about, he doesn't miss a heartbeat on it. And he also adds Lucas, the Lucas engine protection wear crap. So and he's pulled me out the mud. I've got stuck in the mud before he's came, and he's done that numerous of times. And that the motor has power all day. I've seen good things with the motor, but if you have to take proper care for the motor, if you're not taking proper care, just expect you to be going through motors, or just expect. And I wouldn't even. The motor is so. I wouldn't even It's funny because if this motor, I would have to buy the car brand new, because you're playing a gamble on this type of motor. It would have to be brand new. It would have to be from the lot at least, and that way it's covered under warranty for a minute and stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't buy this. If knowing about this motor, I wouldn't buy it used. I wouldn't buy it used off, and thinking people take care of it, because some people, a lot of people just, car is a car, so, you got to particularly know about motors to know that, okay, hey, I'll walk away. It doesn't look, I see oil everywhere. Of course, they're gonna, of course, where she bought the vehicle from, they're gonna power wash it. But if you can tell over here where the power washer couldn't get to, that crud and stuff, and whatnot. So just pay attention. Just pay attention to that stuff, you know. I didn't go cheap. The lady got this on motor. I didn't do nothing, participate in nothing. Hey, the car came and the motor came. So, hey, I don't even know if the motor run. But the guy, he told me, if anything, this is the guy the motor coming from. If anything wrong with the motor, there's a warranty on it. Da 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 da. So it's like, huh? It's supposed to be a good fucking motor. So, hope you're not wasting everyone's time. So, yeah, I'm gonna cut this short. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and see you soon.